Hey, welcome to the Porch Bois podcast. I am, of course, your gloriously returning host, John, alongside these other two idiots who can't do a podcast without me. We got Midget B over here, we got Seawall over there.
Didn't we do
Um,
like two podcasts
Yeah,
without
we've
you?
done two podcasts without him, and I think they were, pretty well liked overall.
Yeah, I
no,
think they
no,
were
that's not what I
pretty
heard. I heard that
successful,
people were
as a matter
complaining.
of fact.
People were like, "No, you got
Well,
to
I
bring John
certainly
back."
wasn't paying attention to the chat, and I am still not.
Yeah,
Sips,
Quite a
sips
shame,
whiskey
yeah.
without regard for the chat.
right? Completely without regard to the chat. When the chat
hmm
is awesome.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
what's going on in there?
well, right now, Hi Leaf said hello, boys. Just about to get off work and watch you guys. See, that's pretty sweet.
Sick.
And he said, I'm not sure exactly what he's saying there, but he said, no, you don't see a bush that looks an awful lot like a person with an M98 anti-materiel rifle, which is spelled Marshall instead of materiel.
Oh, what a
But
Probably
shame.
autocorrect, to be honest. I think he's on his phone.
probably, yeah,
Yeah,
probably,
he's on his phone.
Yep. That's why you disable autocorrect, kids.
yeah.
Well, no, I certainly did not see that person-shaped bush with the anti-materiel rifle poking out of it. No, he's just very excited to be a bush
He's
in
just
our
very
in our
excited to be
front
here.
yard.
Yeah,
That's right.
And
happy to
defeat a
see us.
multi-billion-dollar DARPA project by just somersaulting his way towards it.
That's right.
God, did you hear that fucking story?
No,
no,
I don't get the reference.
Okay,
I don't remember.
DARPA spent
I
billions
just
of
smiled and
dollars.
nodded my
DARPA
head.
spent billions of dollars or like millions and millions of dollars to produce some sort of automated system to detect somebody entering or leaving an area, and they had
Sure.
Marines like
So if
hanging
you
out
do,
around
like,
it
a
for like a week.
Cartwheel or
Yeah.
like a
Well,
somersault.
yeah. What they did is they had Marines kind of hang out around it for like a week, and then they're like, okay, Marines, your job is to get to this thing and touch it without it detecting you. They had 8 Marines try it. All 8 succeeded. 2 or 3 of them somersaulted for 300 meters. 2
That's
of them
awesome.
got into a cardboard box and solid snaked that shit.
Oh, this one.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
okay.
And
That's
then the
reference
final
that
one
I
like
heard,
field
yeah.
stripped a fern tree or something, a fir tree or something like that, and just kind of walked like a tree is how they described it. He basically just covered himself in something that broke up a silhouette. Is what I'm thinking.
Think tree thoughts.
Right.
Yeah, shit that wouldn't
He-
work with a human, but just
He
completely.
thought like a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought like a tree would think,
Yeah.
and he moved.
Yep.
He was one with the tree.
Yep. Some kind of dune. What was it, like sandwalk shit kind of stuff, but with a fern
Right.
tree.
Mhm. That I did hear about. Yeah, the cardboard box thing. Well,
Yep.
yeah, these things, these AIs, it's all about how to train them.
Yeah, they're trying.
Yeah, the problem is fuzzy logic's a little bit tricky with them, but look, they're a good supplement, especially looking into, especially
were we
flagging
talking about?
stuff. But well, we're talking about something else entirely tonight. Sorry about that.
We were.
Well, no, I mean
No,
that's
just
fine.
a moment ago we were talking about something else entirely.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe about how awesome our freaking last episode was.
Oh, it was the best.
Absolutely
No, I
was
don't, I
thus
don't think so.
far.
I was getting all kinds of messages from people like, "Hey, when are you coming back? Like, this is really shit. I can't believe these guys are even doing this without you."
Don't pretend people pay
Yeah.
attention to our show.
Dude,
Much
I
less
got
bother
literally
you about it.
thousands of messages. It was just.
Oh,
it was
those must be the
absurd.
And
sneaky
they
fans
say,
that
hey,
aren't
this
subscribed.
This is the
Right.
worst podcast I've ever heard. Well, at
But you
least
have
you've
heard of it.
But
That's
you
right.
have
That's
heard
right.
of it.
You have heard it. Yeah.
Oh, Leith is saying last episode was the best, and he was here for it.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
I watched
he was.
the whole chat. He was not here at all.
Just kissing ass.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just kissing your ample, supple ass.
Whoa. No. My ass. So there are many things on me that are fats, but my ass is not one of them.
So what
So you
is
have the white
I
man
wasn't
disease, no
talking
ass
to
at all.
you, man.
Oh, look at a seawall, right?
Well, I also did sound a bit more lively last week just because, I got to be a bit more autistic than usual.
Yeah, you did. You really sounded like you were passionate. You were like ready for the episode. You wanted to be there. It was cool.
Well, look, I've done tabletop since I was 18, on and off. So that's 12 years. and I've done so many different systems, and fucking hell, Wizards. Though, kind of a final update: Wizards has completely backpedaled, and they're keeping the old gaming license in effect. So they fucking lost. Hasbro's talking about axing 1,000 jobs from the company.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to make the money they were hoping to make.
No.
So these people are going to have to lose their fucking jobs.
Yeah. Again, the smart, there are other moves that they could have made, 5%, a 5% from gross from specific groups for a special, like, officially sponsored thing.
Well, and yeah, that puts them on a leash too,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Because you can't go offending, your woke sponsors,
Yep.
official sponsors, much less.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of sponsors and having your entire livelihood paid for by other people, what was our fucking subject?
Oh, yeah, we were
tonight?
going to talk about the labor theory
I
of
guess
value.
we were going to speak specifically on the labor theory of value concept in communism and not communism as a broad topic.
Well,
Mhm.
Because
I
it is
think
indeed a broad topic.
I think we should speak more broadly because I mean,
Mhm.
first of all, labor theory of values, economics in general is just a very boring subject.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
It's also full of
So
fucking...
Is it though? I mean, is it even properly defined by anyone?
No.
Can anyone because it keeps moving, you got to keep moving the goalposts to
right.
fucking define what it is, it seems. Even I googled what is the strongest argument in favor, right? Okay, and I got a bunch of self-assured like a priori assertions.
Yeah,
Like
that's what's gonna happen.
the first best example we'll see is the Quora that says there is no good argument against it. Okay, fantastic.
Look, if it's such a good argument and it's such a good system, it would have already won.
Well, I don't
Right.
know what win means.
It would be
so
well. I mean,
let's
It'd be far
discuss.
more prominent.
Let's
Yeah,
discuss.
so, okay. But before we get too deep into discussions, we got to talk about what communism really is about. What
In more
Marx
broad
intended.
terms,
Yeah,
more broadly.
And what
not
Marx
just
himself
specifically
intended. Yeah.
with regards to the labor theory, right? But
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
broadly, in general, communism is about trannies and their penises. We all know this.
Yeah.
yes.
It's also about fat acceptance and the advocacy of cheap labor immigration to keep local wages down. Also, don't forget about the kids in drag kids in public. Very important aspect of communism.
There you go, straight from the man himself.
Yep.
That's right. AZ quotes is an inveterable sauce. That's right.
That's
And
right.
we have this. We also have this
Always
very
remember.
highly complex chart about how to do communism correctly.
Zoom and enhance if you wouldn't mind.
Oh yeah. Look at how complex this is.
All right. So let's begin by robbing and killing all the successful people. Meanwhile, transferring their wealth to Jew bankers. Force the rest to work for free. Run out of food. And starve to death. It wasn't real communism. And establish a new communist utopia.
You know what's funny is the it wasn't real communism thing is like obviously first of all it's a massive coup, of course. But like they always have to twist themselves into this fucking pretzel that like communism their logic goes communism is the highest form of socialism, the end all be all
Right,
form
the
of
end
socialism.
form of
So
socialism.
since no one's actually gotten to that point, communism has not actually been tried.
Of course, but
Socialism
beyond
has,
that,
but not communism.
you
it's
bring
like-
up a good point that I want to emphasize for a moment. You mentioned that it is their mindset that communism is the end goal or the end state of social, right? But that is because their view of history is linear, right?
Right.
The communist view of history is one of, in a lot of ways, dialectical development toward an end goal.
Well, it's also not even cause and effect based.
Dialectical, though. That is
Right,
the entire point. It is dialectical. It can't be anything else.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a dialectical
is.
journey to a predetermined end goal, that being communism. right? So it's a self-fulfilling, like, wish fulfillment philosophy in the sense that, like, this is hard to express. What I'm trying to say is, like, its own end goal is itself, right? All of its
Right.
theory affirms its um its underpinnings, right? All of its theory is built, oh man, not around observation, but in the
No.
effort to support
Well,
the
it's a giant is ought fallacy.
is ought. I think you
Yeah.
might have a point there.
Yeah, it's
It's
is
hard
ought
for me to
fallacy.
express
fallacy,
this.
you know?
Like, I'm certainly not going to go toe to toe in a debate with a philosopher, but god damn, let's get more into this. Like, shall we?
Yes.
Let's
Absolutely.
like really dissect this to the best of our abilities right now. So shall we move on?
Yeah, to this one. This is the /r socialism.
All right, so we
Good
can
one.
skip through this briefly because he uses Uber as an example where the person is volunteering all of their own labor and resources to get a little bit of money. Because, and it's true, Uber provides background checks, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, they vet the clientele and the drivers to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then they conglomerate the two. They put the two together, right? And this
Mhm.
guy makes a point. The guy could put more effort for less return, in on himself.
Mhm.
And it is possible. That is a fucking possibility in the free market. This guy could indeed turn around and, like, advertise himself as a ride and keep all of that to himself and just pay his own expenses. Or, right, fucking capitalists, he could turn to capitalists who saw an opportunity to compensate someone else for the labor and materials use thereof, to take a share of the labor they
finder's
put
fee,
into. Well, it's not just a finder's fee. It's not just like a
Yeah.
pimp. You're talking about, this guy is right in his opening post, is that like, Uber has put a great deal of resources into this arrangement. Like, this is an investment on the part of Uber in the driver to a degree. Like, they are saying, you will ride with a driver that you can trust, and, like, we'll have a work functional automobile, and we'll get you there at this price, and is willing to,
He's got
follow these rules. Right. I follow all these rules that, so it works for, presumably, ostensibly, it works for all parties involved. Right? The rider is assured of a particular experience through
Yeah.
the brand name, and the driver is assured mutually of a particular experience and guaranteed a certain rate to which he is willing to agree, right? And if we scroll down, we see, like, the argument against it is like, oh, well, you can either agree or fucking starve to death, right? Like, or you can fucking starve to death. Right. Okay.
Well,
so then the answer to that starve to death bullshit would be like, who are they finding at these starve to death rates? That's willing to work with them and sustain their business
not many.
model.
Most Uber
If
drivers.
nobody, then how does that business maintain?
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah, it's my.
It doesn't.
It's why I'm in the position of, I'm also against the concept of a minimum wage, because all the minimum wage does is basically put a assuming wealth is a logarithmic or whatever exponential or linear graph. All it's doing is adding a little plus so it moves the zero up. That's it. That's all it does. It doesn't actually make people wealthier at the bottom.
Anyway,
No,
this
of course not.
socially necessary abstract labor time thing is a trope that I keep seeing.
Yeah, the mud pie
as
argument.
as I explore this this argument, this back and forth. Socially necessary abstract labor time. Okay, so society has decided the value of your labor, right? Is that basically that in a nutshell, John? Am I on something there? Socially necessary abstract. If you spend all of your labor and time destroying things, you're not performing socially necessary abstract labor.
Right.
right? If you're writing poetry, you might not be performing socially necessary labor. So, what is socially necessary labor? Is it in labor camps? Right? Is it
It's
maybe where
producing
you
raw
can.
resources, certain consumer
Yeah.
goods, food.
So it's like the different forms of value. One of them being use value, and that's kind of what they're used to determine part of the labor theory of value. One of the one of the categories that they would use to explain it is use value. So something that you make things that are useful and that has value, even if it's not a monetary value. And it's also going to be different depending on who you are. So like say take a hammer. If you don't need to nail something, then the hammer is not really useful to you, so the value is zero. Whereas if you're a builder, you nail stuff all the time, hammer is very useful to you, has a lot more value.
Sure,
So
sure. And
yeah.
I, being in my industry, am well aware of things being valuable to some people and not to others.
That's definitely
What was
true.
it?
Yeah,
One man's trash, another man's treasure. It's kind of the old
For
adage.
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's an
absolutely.
old adage, I suppose, for a reason.
The
So
reason
the
why people
mud
keep saying
pie
it.
argument is, of course, a sign of someone who has no real understanding of the labor theory of value. There's no reason to engage with them because they haven't read a fucking book, right? They haven't educated themselves. Tried to get the gist from third-party criticisms, which are just as clueless, unlike we brainiacs who have it figured out. So, John, please, you're the brainiac. Help us figure out what are we missing here. What
So
is it in
here,
this fucking example that this giga brain here is smart enough to point out that is not clear to we the sophists
right.
on
So
the
it's
porch?
basically the separation of that use value that I was bringing up. It's
Is it
like there's
further splitting of hairs?
yeah, oh, it's like autistically
Infinite
splitting
splitting
hairs.
of hairs.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't stop until you
Wait,
stop
wait. Is this just
because
another
Until you stop,
reinvention?
right? That's the impression that I get from this. Because if we scroll down, like there's an answer to this. Oh, can we close that?
Don't think so.
Right. And this someone points this out, right? There's
Let me
also the
let me
cost of
quickly
the.
go off that, and I'll quickly log in.
Ew, weak. Don't do that.
I technically have one.
Don't do that though.
I technically
and,
have
and
one.
don't do that like on the
It's not
on
on
the
stream. I swapped to our chatting. They don't see a thing.
okay,
No,
okay.
yes, I see. Oh, okay.
I'm watching. Yeah,
Because
I'm
I
watching.
see it.
Yeah, you guys see it because you guys have a special secret stream that no one else gets.
Right.
Isn't our audience jelly?
They're super jealous right now. They can't stand it.
They're peanut butter and jelly.
Oh man.
It doesn't
All of
even
our
work.
one audience member is extremely jealous right
Okay, hold on.
I'll bet he is too, though.
now.
We'll reload the
He's-
page and make it simple.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
So let's go back
Yeah.
to the stream.
Yep, back to mainstream. So we'll have about half a page to go work with, guys. But we can work with that.
Okay, so there's a whole lot wrong with this, but I just want to address a minor point. If you want to be able to discuss the labor theory of value, learn about it first, and then we'll talk. You're not even disproving the labor theory. I don't know why you think that's what you're doing. Learn something about it. Implying you can work for X and give them a cut of your productivity. Psh, you don't give them a cut of your productivity. Your wages stay the same regardless how productive you are personally.
Right, that's what they're
You-
talking. But that's so okay, hang on, because this is important. That sentence, "Your wage stays the same regardless of how productive you are personally," is exactly what the labor theory of value is. That's what the dude's saying. That's what
Yeah.
Heinlein is saying.
Yeah,
It's
the,
like
the mud
it's
pie.
about how many
Yeah,
man
the mud
hours.
pie is just basically the extreme example.
Right, but so it's like how many man hours you put into it. So your
Yeah.
wages stay the same regardless of how productive you are.
Yeah.
But okay, that's the labor. That's exactly what Heinlein says.
But
in
why
that
would
quote
someone
of the mud pie
pay
quote.
someone the same wages to be unproductive as they pay someone to be very productive.
And not only
Uh,
that, but like
Why,
being
when
like
they can earn productivity in exchange for their
lack of
generous
productivity.
wages,
Yeah.
right? Would they pay generous wages for lack of productivity? Why? What would incentivize the wage payer, right? The
right,
payor, right? What would incentivize them to give wages to the payee? Some philosophical fucking belief that they owe it to them? I
let's
mean, I
do
guess
each
that's
according to their
socialism.
need. Yes,
Right,
Yeah.
to each
that's
according to their needs, right? Oh, I see.
right.
You're right. It would be on the employer to give the able-bodied white male less than the oppressed, you know, paraplegic,
No.
double bisexual, reverse transgender,
And
uh,
okay, what and
freaking
question, Mr. Theoretical Marxist. What happens when the majority of the population or a chunk of the population are consuming more productivity than what the rest of society can produce?
So that this is another ridiculous thing that they do. There's the idea of like kind of like the ideal Soviet man.
Mhm.
It's that like the ideal socialist man or person that
Oh
they're going to
God.
create
yeah,
just
person,
through
sir. I mean,
right.
ma'am, out.
Yeah. So
Our
there's like the
short-circuited.
idea. Yeah. There's the ideal socialist person. So that, like once socialism has been achieved, once communism has been achieved, that just won't happen.
It's,
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever your reply is going to be does not matter. It just won't happen.
so
It's the
you're
most
saying
ridiculous thing I've ever
that
heard.
that you will change human nature itself,
Yes.
something that
Yes.
hasn't changed for
Well, I thought
10,000
that
years.
John
Yes.
was pointing out that Conquest of Bread, the bread book, kind of made more room for human nature in the theory, right?
Does,
That,
but that's not what. I don't know if I would call that. That's not like socialism or like communism in that way. I guess it's like after when the state dissolves itself for some reason, just because
right,
they
because they'd
can.
be totally motivated to do that, right?
It's the most absurd thing I've ever fucking heard.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really hoping that we could be a little more serious tonight. We're clearly taking the piss here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But like,
but I'm giving the arguments. It's just
Ugh.
the arguments are
no, we're not. I literally Google searched what is the strongest argument in favor of. You know what I got? I got the next tab. Not that we're ready to go there yet, but I
Nope.
got the next tab.
that's crazy.
Jesus
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm
Christ.
talking about like, okay, so I gave the answer for, what happens when most people are not producing.
Mhm.
Well, that just won't happen, right? Like, these are most of these answers.
Right, well,
Like, because the thing
right.
is,
No, that's all I can find.
like,
Yeah.
That's all
well,
I
'cause
can find is, well, that just won't
But how
happen,
do you
or
do that
like
though?
you
How do you
don't
do that?
know. So
Yeah.
communism doesn't know
authoritarianism.
how.
You
It
do it
doesn't
with
know how.
coercion. You
Yeah.
do it with bullets. You do
Right.
it with jacketed lead.
And what happens
That's
when that still isn't working and the people are starving and they don't care about the jacketed lead anymore and they're either producing their own secret economy, a black market, or they are now kicking your doors down?
the most important thing to remember is communism doesn't know how.
Yeah.
That's it. Whatever
Yeah.
questions you have, it does not know. It does not know
Yeah.
how. That's not important. What matters is the theory. The praxis isn't nearly as important, and that's what
Yeah.
I mean. That's why
Well,
there's been so many different kind of socialist experiments throughout the world.
Socialists, I was going to say utopias, right?
and they
Yeah,
Utopias,
all
exactly.
every last
have
one of them.
the
And they've
ones
all
that are
done things
and
differently.
the Nordic model they keep trying to point to. The only reason why that one is quote unquote so successful is a combination of they get really good export deals to people around them, and they have arguably
It's a market
freer
economy.
arguably
It's
freer
a
market economies.
market economy
Yeah,
with
it's
social safety nets.
Yeah,
right. It's not
which are
even
actually
true
breaking
social.
those nations down now, too.
Well, because they're offering them to everyone
yeah,
as
Well,
opposed
yeah,
to
they're
just the
importing.
natives, right?
Mhm.
They're importing
Right.
Somalians and freaking Eritreans and all
extreme
kinds of
unproductives.
yeah, all kinds of military age men. with nothing but time on their hands. So anyway, that sadness of Europa aside, that's all I seem to find when I seek arguments is like gaslighting that my intuition is leading me astray. Even though I'm not well read in these fucking subjects, I mean the objections are clear through practical
They're
examples.
self-evident. If you have two brain
I heard
cells.
Josip Tito was pretty based. I heard that was that Serbian?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
I forget. Tito. Yugoslavia. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was Yugoslav Soviet communism. I heard that was fairly stable, and that he was a
Extreme
decently
dictator.
well. I mean, so was Pinochet, right? Supposedly.
Yeah.
So was supposedly Mustache Uncle. And so was like
An Austrian that didn't get an unnamed Austrian from the 30s that didn't get into art school.
That's Mustache Uncle. I guess Mustache Daddy is gonna be Stalin.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Mustache Daddy. He's got the biggest stash.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
all
clearly
had a pretty
compensating.
impressive
He's clearly compensating with that.
you think so?
Yeah.
He'll have you against the wall for that shit.
I mean, he's fucking
You
worm
go to
food.
Gulag.
So
You go to Gulag.
he's fucking worm food. So why should I give two shits?
You go to Gulag.
Yeah.
So
You are counter-revolutionary.
now we're gonna move on to the next one, guys.
Sure, because again, all right. This is what I got in exchange for my query. What is the best argument in favor of?
Mhm.
All right. So for and against the labor theory. First answer. Scroll up. The argument against the labor theory of value is its lack of predictive value. From a scientific perspective, there is no argument for it.
Says this person with a PhD in economics from the University of Iowa.
Feigenbaum. He's got a funny last name, doesn't he?
That's a really weird last
hold on.
name.
He's saying
I'm surprised
the
you
argument
noticed that
against
last-
the labor theory of value is its lack of predictive value. From a scientific perspective, there is no argument for it. I think he's saying that. I think he might actually be a free marketeer.
Right. Yeah.
He's
so
actually
let's
saying,
scroll
hold
down.
on, there's no argument for it. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no scientifically predictive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That argues that the economic value of a good or service is determined by the total amount of socially necessary labor required to produce it. Wikipedia. Socially necessary labor time is defined as follows. The simplest definition of socially necessary labor time is the amount of labor time performed by a worker of average skill and productivity working with tools of the average productive potential to produce a given commodity. This is an average unit labor cost measured in working hours. Again, from Wikipedia. I'm not clear on why people are concluding that all this translates across different occupations being paid the same wage. Nor does that have anything to do with supply. Doesn't that sound familiar, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like the exact same phraseology we just fucking saw?
Yeah.
Nor does it have anything to do with supply and demand pricing commodities, to my knowledge. Marx differentiates four different values of commodity: exchange value, value, and price. It's about commodities, not wages. True, under capitalism, worker is a commodity, as is his or her labor. But to talk about socially necessary labor time in order to manufacture is obviously silly. No, it's not. No, the socially necessary labor time is like you got to have the free time to bang your wife. Holy shit. And she's got to be feeling all right that time of the month, too. Goddamn.
Right.
Like the stars got to align some damn times. Jesus Christ. My impression is that it's starting from a common misconception that every worker is communist and political economy gets paid the same. Then working backwards to attribute this falsehood to the labor theory. But in elaborating socially necessary labor time, Marx is talking about the hypothetical average laborer working under hypothetically average conditions of hypothetical fucking communism. Okay, like goddamn,
It sounds
it's
like
all fucking.
whenever I hear this, it sounds like they're trying, because you know how the left love to reinvent things and think they discovered them for the first time.
Oh yeah.
This
Mhm.
sounds like this all over. Like, guys, you're describing one element of the value of an item under a free market system is the cost of labor put into it. You know, if it
Right.
takes 10 hours on average to produce, let's say a widget.
Well, here's my
You know?
question. No, we all get your point there,
Yeah.
Seawall. Because here, let's summarize it though. Here's my question: why, if there's a more practicable and workable theory that is free market economics that incorporates that aspect of the value of a product,
And applies it in practice.
Why do we need a totalitarian ideology that breaks down, the basics of like hierarchy and the family and undermines reality by redefining words and kills opposition for the sake of the pursuit of a utopia? Why do we need that sort of system when free market economics incorporates what we're talking about in it already? That's my fucking question. What's the purpose? Why do we need communism, this totalitarian ideology that requires no free market participation by any of its participants? Otherwise, the whole system is undermined and breaks down. Right? As you see, Wall pointed
I have
out,
an
these
answer.
fucking monetary systems can be perverted. Black markets exist in these. God damn it! Why do we need totalitarianism when we have a perfectly good system?
I have a theory. Because the envy of the poor is far more dangerous than the greed of the rich.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it, because I live it every day. I live in the north side of Jacksonville. That's all I see. The envy of those not poor, but those who are incapable of understanding how to get what they want.
Yeah.
Right? The learned helplessness and the blaming of their problems on others. It's all I've talked about with my clients all this week. Everybody that I know knows about this, right? And is aware of it, and it's pervasive. But like, yeah, I'm glad, I'm encouraged that there's people of all types from lots of different walks of life who have their heads on straight out there. You got to keep the faith, boys.
Oh yeah.
It's not all is lost. Like there's still hope for like the sustainment of culture and civilization. But goddamn, the kids are not okay.
The fortunate thing is they will burn out far before they actually gain power.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, they've already gained power.
They've gained power, but the problem is, can they maintain power long term?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're telling me they have perfect robot soldiers that are 100% loyal to them that will never break down?
No, what I'm saying is that the people really at the levers of power have been there for hundreds of years, for centuries. So that's what I'm saying. The people at the levers of power, at the real rotten root of the problem, have been there for at least a century.
And also, like, the ideology is what's most important. As long as the ideology keeps going, there'll be adherence to it.
J.P. Morgan Chase, like,
talk about like
the
critical
World
theory,
Bank,
which is of course Marxist.
The Frankfurt School,
that's
the
about
Frankfurt
a century
School.
Old.
It goes back along the people at the levers of power and their relatives. Like, a lot of celebrities are actually related to one another and royalty.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is as it seems, and these people have been in control for a very long time. Democracy is like a sham illusion. It's me. We don't. Right. It has been for at least a century, probably more. These people are a cult. They protect themselves with the occult, and they've been in power for a long time. Long time.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about like critical theory, which is pretty recent compared to most others.
It's just another lever.
So yeah, I mean, it's a Marxist ideology. It's a Trojan horse for Marxism, which is what brings us to our subject for tonight. That's how it was related, at least. But no, its entire purpose is to create more critical theorists. That's all it does. It's just a
Yeah.
self-perpetuating
It doesn't
thing.
solve any problems.
No, because it's
No,
an
it's
ideology of
not
criticism.
about solving problems, right?
Right?
It's
It's about creating
criticism
more. It's about
for the
creating
sake
more
of
critical theorists.
criticism, right?
Well, it's about creating more critical theorists. That's all it does. That is
Yeah,
what its job is. That's why it's so hard to pin it down.
explicitly.
They'll always be like, "Oh, no one can define it." You always say,
Because you-
wokeism
What
or
even
whatever. You
is
can't
critical
define it.
race? Huh? What even is CRT? Huh?
Yeah.
They say it's CRT, but it's actually influenced by CRT. It doesn't actually say CRT in the material.
Right.
Huh, gotcha, Chud.
And as soon as
Like,
you're arguing with that, you've already lost. Like they
right.
won.
And that's why maybe we should get to the last meme next. Seawall, what do you think? You know what I'm referring
Nope, we're
to?
gonna.
No, the last meme next. That one.
No, second to last meme.
That one.
Sorry, that one is the last meme.
No, not that one.
Yeah, that
No,
one.
you were right.
Yeah.
The first time. That
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. The fortunate thing is critical theorists don't create anything. That's the cost of making a critical theorist. So they cannot survive the second their
No,
cushy life
That's by
ends.
that's by design.
Yeah.
It's by design that they infiltrate an institution, suck it dry until it is destroyed and moves on to another one. That's all creating more critical theorists, and then we don't need the system anymore. We don't need this institution anymore because we've already, created and infiltrated, created more critical theorists and infiltrated it. We don't need it anymore.
Well, the
Run another one.
normies need it. They need to
Right.
legitimize the institution. They've already hollowed it out and put it on like a skin suit. Now they need to parade it around like it's legitimate to maintain its legitimacy as long as possible.
Right, but then that's what I'm saying. Then once that
its
legitimacy's
value.
gone,
That's
they don't
its-
need it.
Right, yeah, they
Yeah,
can
they
discard it
toss it
along with
aside.
all the useful idiots
Yeah.
that were
Right.
filling the skin suit. Right? The ones at the top will get paid off with mansions, and shit. But the rest of them get thrown under the bus.
Yeah, that's why it's so insidious. It's not like a coherent ideology. It just exists to make more adherents. And that's it. Like that's it. It's just there to destroy.
That's a good summation of it. Yeah, it's of the culture of critique. It exists to criticize and not. Solutions are not the objective. They're not the end, but reached by these means.
Mm-hmm.
The end reached by these means is, as John points out, like the deconstruction of society, of societal norms, of civilization. Yeah, the absolute subjugation of everything to the subjective.
Yes, yeah, it is all subjective. There's no such thing as objective reality. That just does not
And
exist.
the second you have enough people following that, the entire system collapses, and the only survivors are the ones that do believe in objective reality, because they had either prepared.
Well,
or
the only
able to
survivors
do
are the
that.
people at the top of that, that society, and then they just do it again.
Shall we
society
enjoy
did
that
it.
second to last time?
I mean,
Just-
that only works if the people at the top of the society guarantee that every single family member of their security staff is safely secured. If they can't guarantee that, all it takes is one guy to find out his wife is dead to go, "Fuck you, boss." Bang, bang.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah. Or, if the objectives get a hold of a couple of boats, they surround the island and go, "Hey, security guys, we don't want you. You can keep the fucking island. Just give us the elite fuck that broke
Give
the
us
world.
your women.
Keep the women. Give us the elite fuck that broke the world.
Yeah,
That's all we
whatever.
want."
All right, so yeah, let's move on.
Moving on. So, moneyless society.
So I think it would support the idea of there not being money, but I struggle with wrapping my head around that concept. What would ownership look like? Like, I can wrap my head around there not being rent and everyone just getting a place to live, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Or everyone
Okay, who
just
builds and maintains it?
That makes sense, right? A place that requires it and things like that. But what about more frivolous things like the books I own, or I own, or like my Jordans, or like my cool hat, or
Well,
my fucking Nintendo Switch?
everyone gets requisition credits given to them by the government to select what they want.
Requisition credits.
You
Yeah.
wanna read the answer there, John? The big brain answer, since you're the big brain here. Sort by best. After all, this is the best answer.
Okay. I'm guessing you just go to a shop and you get what you need. If in that store you see shortage of what you want, or you want to collaborate on something that you know someone might need, then you just go to your local factory or farm and you work there for a while. For example, if you want books, then you go to a library and get them. If the book that you want is out of stock, you can ask the librarian to request more prints. Then the librarian might put in an ad on the internet requesting for more copies of that book to be produced. Then whoever
Wow,
wants
hold
to
on just for a
collaborate,
second. It
yeah.
sounds like someone's passing the buck.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Oh, it's always
somebody's
someone else.
fucking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
someone
it
else's
sounds like
responsibility.
somebody's fucking. Whose factory are you gonna fucking go over and work
The
at?
people's
Yeah,
The people's
factory.
factory,
Yeah.
right? The people's
Right.
factory.
No, like, again, we're passing responsibility on to someone else
Well, yeah,
in
it's always
every
someone else.
step of the way. Right? Every step of the way so far. So go ahead, John. Then whoever, right? Whoever
Then
wants
whoever
to.
wants to collaborate with society with their work simply investigates what people want, then goes to a book printer and just starts working there next to the other people who also saw that ad, which is spelled ADD. That's how I think that the moneyless aspect of communism might work. Please correct me if I'm misunderstanding something. You are misunderstanding
Please
everything.
correct him,
Everything.
John, if he's misunderstanding something. Would you? Would you
Uh,
mind? Socialism, ours.
our socialism, Jesus Christ. Okay, so I don't want to collaborate with society and work on a book or go to my local farm and work there for a while. I don't want to do that. You just have to make me this book. I don't understand. Just make me the book.
Right. I'm willing to
Like,
give you money if you make me the book.
right.
Have you the expertise? Is your labor worth anything? Right? Could you put the work into the book and make it worth my fucking time and money? If
Right.
so, I'll give you my time and or money.
Right. So instead of, me working
Bullets,
somewhere and
food,
then
silver, what do you want? Like, we
well,
got it.
instead of me working somewhere for a while and going
How
work
about I've already
somewhere
worked
else.
somewhere for a long time and I've
Right.
saved up the labor, the value of my labor. Here
Right.
it is in physical form.
In a 5, 10, 20, 50, unit
100,
increments.
100.
Like,
Yep,
right.
unit increments. I'm talking about grams, bro. Grams.
Right. Yeah, it's because that's all. Like, I guess they don't understand that. Like, money is just the store
Yeah,
of.
money's
It's
just
a
a
storage
store
device.
of labor value. And the thing is,
Right.
again, have you okay, John? I'm sure you've heard of the concept of their attempt to replace money with the labor voucher concept.
No, it sounds familiar. It sounds like
It
something that would
what
happen though.
was
Sounds like
described
some
to me
communist
by
bullshit
by
is
an
what
actual by someone who claims he's an actual like syndicalist. Is that yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah,
do
it's
labor
communist.
and you're and the wherever you do your labor you're given these vouchers and then you can take these vouchers to various locations and get things you want. I go okay, and then once you use the
Yeah.
voucher, it's used up. The place you went to get the stuff can't use it again.
Well, they can't use it again. So then,
Right.
okay,
So wrap your head around that shit, right? So now this fucking store, right? This hypothetical, because we like to use that word around here. Hypothetical store has a bunch of these hypothetical labor vouchers. Now, fucking what? How do they get
right, like,
restock their supply? Like, who wants labor vouchers, bro? Hey, I got all these labor vouchers. I
they
need
can't use
more
them
supplies. Yeah, right. They can't.
so
So,
where are they? Like, what are they paying their employees with? Like when they
Apparently,
yeah,
they get
what's the
labor vouchers
incentive?
to give to their employees. Which I'm like, where the fuck do those labor vouchers come from? Then, where do
You
they
just
Right.
make them up, bro.
Yeah,
But hey, you know what? How's that different from our current fiat system?
Well, in that you
Oh
can reuse
man,
them.
it's
That's how it's
almost
different.
like it's not all that different at all.
Yeah,
In
it's really
that
not.
fucking
They're
world
reusable.
global neoliberalism based on fiat currency is basically hegemonic communism. That we're
Right.
basically being subjugated as we speak and replaced out of existence if we notice it.
It's definitely
So,
true to that. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we tried to be serious about this subject tonight, but like, I don't know if we're doing a good job or not. Have we
Yeah.
even tackled the central question, the labor theory of value? What is it supposed to be? Have we nailed it down yet?
I don't think even they have nailed it down.
There's
No, they have
there's
not.
fucking like 9 volumes of Das Kapital, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
isn't in
I've
it?
read
He's
one of
got.
them.
We're talking about 4 different types of value, right? There's use
Right.
value, and there's fucking like, oh, what
Exchange
else?
value.
Exchange value.
Yeah, labor value, of course. Like how much, um, how much
Again,
it's
isn't that
like that's
just
How
what
many
time is
man
meant for.
hours it would take by the average skilled worker
with the average
right?
tools? It's like, hold on, hold on. Isn't that how free
So
market?
everybody's
it's a component-
average, right?
yeah,
Everyone,
Yeah.
even those who are not average,
Yeah.
even those who can't even who can barely achieve average or aren't capable.
Right.
Jesus, they exist.
Mhm.
A lot of them too. A fucking lot. Like, what's to be done about them? Who knows? Like, in a free market society, perhaps would exist like a charity. I'm sure they would, because somebody's got to
Yeah.
do something with people who
Yeah.
aren't capable of taking
Humans
care of
don't
themselves.
like seeing suffering.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
We're inclined to justice, and that's why we can be manipulated so badly by these communist fucks who can't even pin down their own ideology, who can't even give you a definition for their own fucking words that they're using. They tell you that the definition of the words that they're using change all the time. Why would you bother trusting someone who fucking reasons in this manner? Have you some fucking principles. Stand up for yourself and have a spine. Believe in something. God damn, even if you're a Taliban and you want to run your own country in Afghanistan, like, fuck's sake, just stay over there. Like, you know what? That's fine with me, but at least you believe in goddamn something. Fuck.
Yeah, the biggest problem.
No, they're like practically, I don't want to say it, but like, I understand their position because they're opposed to the same sorts of ideology I am for a different reason.
Right.
Definitely
a different reason.
Obviously, but
Well, I mean,
we probably wouldn't see eye to eye on a whole lot.
No,
But there's one or
definitely
two things we might. Not without, pointing out any specifics at the time.
Well, also something else that these communists really need to be careful of. They're inching, a good chunk of humanity closer to the whole. If you can't produce for yourself, you shouldn't live. Will become the new justice. That humans will eventually get to the point where, like, no, you got to figure it out for yourself. Period. Maybe
How
you can.
Bad it would have to get really bad, bro. Like,
with
again,
how
humans are inclined to justice, and
here's the thing:
if
we're
whites
facing
haven't
down a
gathered
dark
together by that point,
well,
we're pretty well fucked.
We're facing down full systems collapse in a dark age.
We're gonna have to all move to Greenland or something, and dig underground like bunkers and shit.
Okay,
we're gonna have to all move to Greenland.
Who physically resides on most of the farmland of the United States?
Well,
which political faction controls the oil? The majority of the oil
doesn't vote, chud.
But land produces, and if there is no system, telling them they have to give you food, they're not going to give you food.
The land does continue to produce,
exactly.
Especially under capable hands.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think those cities are going to be able to mount an actual effective assault and control that land, or do you think they're gonna fucking kill each other over the last ho-ho at the 7-Eleven down the street? What's easier, them to organize a complex military system with disparate groups that then have to march outside of the city with limited resources to try to seize huge swaths of land that likely have been sabotaged, or fight
booby
each other for
trapped
what
or
remains.
camped on. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what? I can only get so erect. You really need to stop. I'm dripping.
I'm sorry, Mijjt's wife.
How come we don't have that one shit post? Can you find it in an emergency fashion? You know the one we're talking about. The one that John, like, they're inviting, right? They're saying, like, the fucking globalist elite are going to come down to the mountains of, eastern Tennessee and West Virginia.
That was in. I put that in shitpost, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make America,
quick.
like, instantly isolationist. You'd get most factions going no.
I'm gonna make a drink. See if you can find that real quick, John. Seawall and John, you can talk about it while I BRB.
So I'll move on to the next one though. Communist privilege.
All right, I'll be right back, you guys.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was in general. You go ahead and read this while I.
Communist privilege, promoting an ideology that killed over 100 million people, and that's the low estimates, and not being arrested for hate speech. Yeah.
All right, I found it. Here you go.
Yeah.
1 second, I'll put it in the little chat.
Our little hidden chat.
Little secret chat.
Yep.
There we go. This is pretty great. So this person looks like a Redditor. Now, to be fair, he got -3, so 3 downvotes. Says, we're past the peaceful debate stage with you gun fanatic types. You have 2 options coming soon. Hand them in or get steamrolled by a global coalition invited in to assist in civilian disarmament. There will be no Hail Mary from Thomas. I'll be, of course, the Supreme Court Justice and the corrupt court. There will be no support from law enforcement or the military. You will stand alone with your hobby rifle against the might of multiple first world armies. You will fold.
No, your first world armies are going to surrender the second they hit Appalachia. And learn what war really fucking is. They will surrender, and they will be turned into a labor force. I'm not joking.
I forget what it was. Let me see it.
And I love this. Actually, we're tickled pink to hear you say that.
Right. I'll tickled to hear you say that. Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, all of the southern states are going to basically tell the federal government, you've gone, rogue, and the National Guards are activated in those states. So you're not getting all the military. A couple of cities in the South might try, something, but the local law enforcement, once they get a call from the National Guard saying, we will bomb you, are going to immediately arrest the politicians because they don't want to fucking die. That are, yeah. Again, they're bringing in... Okay, John, in history, isn't bringing in an outside army like the ultimate way to reveal that you are the weak king?
I mean, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
and it always leads to legitimacy issues and additional rebellions later on. Always.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure something like that. But, yeah, I mean, so like something like hiring a few mercenaries would be a weakness, but definitely being like, hey, everyone else, bring your armies here.
No, it's going to make America isolationist. And cause a whole lot of people to become POWs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, not just POWs, but captive in someone's basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Some random redneck's basement.
Yeah, and then what happens when this the new founding fathers or whatever they're called get a hold of the nuclear codes? What do you think the rest of the world's gonna do fucking then? I think most of them immediately fucking surrender.
I mean, yeah.
Because again, Europe doesn't have the fucking stomach or the balls. They never will. Europe's been basically under America's safety blanket for what? Nearly 100 years at this point? 90 some odd years almost?
It's been a long time, yeah.
They don't know how to fight. I mean, for God's sakes, look at what's going on in Ukraine. They still have. We've sent twice as much money in material than all of Russia's military spending for a year, and they still can't throw them out.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty
And
ridiculous.
Russia's a like third tier army.
Presumably, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know, but it's like it's ridiculous though. Like
Yeah.
this idea that I mean, obviously it's not gonna happen. It's just some random redditor trying to
Yeah.
be cool, but like that's just the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. So moving back to the main
You
topic.
won't have the support of the law enforcement or the military. Like that is such bullshit.
Okay, sure you might get the officer corps, but you know what the nickname for the officer corps is by the enlisted?
Uh,
Retards with degrees. The,
really,
the the enlisted despise the officer corps.
I thought you were gonna go with
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I'm back.
Pogue.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome
Nice.
back.
So like, no, hold on. Before you move on, let me point something out in the language here.
Yeah.
This global coalition that Seawall mentioned
Yeah.
can't quite occupy like all this land. It is supposedly invited,
Yeah.
right? By
What it
who?
says, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Like this is the quiet part out loud, and I agree a lot of people feel like, and rumor was of course that Obama would create like a United Nations police force. No, there are of course rumors, speculation that is, that perhaps the aim is to abolish local law enforcement so as to supplant it with a federal policing force. That's the point of the effort, ostensibly, to defund police forces, local police forces.
The problem is
And
those federal police forces, like we see with the federales in Mexico, will be far more brutal and far more corrupt.
oh, you think?
Yeah,
Wow.
always.
What,
Because they're not part of the
what would
community.
make you think that? Your
They're not part of the
observation there, Seawall?
Yeah.
What would that?
Yeah.
What would make you say that? Your observations?
How
Boy,
many,
you wouldn't want to trust your own observations, Seawall. We're
That's what I've learned about communism.
I'm gonna believe my
Yeah, you
lying
wouldn't wanna
eyes more
trust
than your
them.
Right,
truthful mouth.
Absolutely. You wouldn't distrust your leader, would you?
Yeah, I would. Fuck dear leader.
Oh, that's wrong think. Off to the gulag, comrade.
Struggle session
You're-
time.
That's right. It's a counter-revolutionary. Just at swift administration. Face the wall if you would.
No, if you're gonna kill me, you're gonna look me in the fucking eyes when you do it.
Well, all right. I suppose we'll cut you to pieces and carve your face off first. Break both your knees, all your fingers, pull your fingernails off, and then kill you.
Sure, you
Yeah.
can kill
See,
my
that's
body,
pretty
but you
brutal.
can't kill my soul.
All right. Well, you'll go
Anyway.
through hell in the meantime. And that's the real menace, though. It is true coercion. Like they could torture you to fucking death, like for weeks
Yeah.
prior to killing you.
Oh yeah.
So, like, just
Yeah, and if I admit to them, my soul goes to an eternal torment for the rest of all time.
there you go, dude. And that's what faith
Yeah.
is about,
Yeah.
man. In the face of evil, you got to believe that justice will be done. Otherwise, like it's hard to believe in anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's hard to believe that any of your efforts would ever amount to anything. You'd be nihilist. I mean, but like I was talking to our friend, and he's not available to join us, but like he's the communist kid. Like
Right.
in this conversation, I think it would be fitting. But
Yeah, that
like,
would be good.
Anyway, so with regards to that, I would say to him that like intuition is key. Your lying eyes aren't lying to you, bro, and what you're noticing is like the contradictions inherent in this like ridiculous self-assured tautology that is all of these theoretical, hypothetical, like end result bullshit concepts that aren't practical, again, that don't comport with observable reality. right? You can't justify them with more that you don't need the totalitarian ideology for if you've got something better that encompasses all of these concepts and is clearly working and has worked and is proven itself,
Eons at this point.
well, I mean, if you go to bartering is not communism, right? Bartering is not communism. Someone gathers things, trades them for things that they need. That's not fucking communism. They have things. They are their personal things, and they took them from the environment. They enforced their will.
Then
right?
then codes of law started forming where if you killed some of a man's flock, he was entitled to some of your flock in compensation.
Some kind of some kind of
because we live in a society, right? We at each other's throats all the fucking time. And it would be nice if we didn't have to like kill each other as consequences for everything. And on the flip side of that coin, so can we kind of meet in the middle and be like, hey, yo, we all agree without violence that this motherfucker over here did this to me, right? I'll prove it to all of you, and you'll see that I've been wronged. And we should all agree that there's something reasonable that we as a community would like to see done to any of us should we do the same. Okay? So that we're not like, putting a fucking scrap tire around this guy, beating him half to death, filling it with gasoline and lighting it on fire, right? For every little thing. But instead we have a meaningful punishment that we can all agree is like fair, right? And that dates back, as Seawall points out, eons.
Oh yeah.
Like it works. It doesn't require a totalitarian ideology encompassing all aspects of every individual's life.
No, it
thought
just needs a general understanding of people own things, and you're not supposed to take things from people without permission. But if you boil it down to the simplest ways, a lot of these laws worked. All law that is just and enforceable goes back to the basic concept of self-ownership and having the ability to own things that aren't
what are you, some kind of fascist talking about natural law?
Actually, the fascists didn't really like natural law all that much.
Well, yeah, because they also try to change human nature.
Yeah,
indeed. Direct it.
Well, I'm gonna have to scoot us along, boys.
I suppose we are getting caught in the weeds.
Yep.
All right, let me read this one. Philosophy Emergency Hotline. What's your emergency? I'm at a dinner party and my friend is carrying on about how postmodern neo-Marxists are corrupting our youth by teaching them that everything is as true as everything else. Ha! Implying that would ever happen. Am I right, guys? All right. Okay. You need to stay calm. Did you try explaining to them the Marxism modernist philosophy and is fundamentally at odds with postmodernism? Scroll. Words. Good God, we'll send a squadron right away. Philosophy Squad team, open up. We don't need to debate with people who haven't read a single book on the topic they want to debate. And this is like, well, no, that's it.
God.
Right there. Panel number 6. Right there in a nutshell. Here comes this nigga kicking the door in. He say, we don't need to debate with people who haven't read a single book on the topic they want to debate. Okay, who, raise your hands, in this debate has read a book, all 9 books, okay? And that was held over us, wasn't it, John?
Oh, yeah.
It's been held over us. Have you read all 9 volumes of Das Kapital? Do you truly understand the intellectual value of all of this? It's like, that's his labor theory of value. This nigga wrote 9 books, like, about the same idea. This thing is so valuable, it took him 9 books. Look how valuable it is.
It's so boring. It's so dry.
I feel like, why is that not valuable to anyone who meaningful though? Like, what am I even trying to say? I cannot, to the satisfaction of any adherent, undermine or contradict these beliefs, right? Because I am clearly not eligible to even hold this conversation. Because I haven't read all 25 volumes, this, that, and the third.
And I
right?
guarantee you, the
sure
guy
have,
screaming
right?
that you
and they
that you
sure
haven't
fucking have.
probably haven't themselves. They've read a synopsis of a synopsis of a synopsis.
Oh, no, not only that, but it's like even if you have read it,
Mhm.
then you're not engaging with the material and you didn't understand it properly.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter whether you've read it or not. It really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Like if you don't believe
Wait,
it,
this isn't jail. It's just the library. Exactly. Now read a goddamn book.
Well, I refuse to read your book because I have read other books by this. You're handing me the synopsis. I've read the original, so I'm
This
gonna
is
fucking
the best of, you fucking
Yeah.
poser.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
This is the best of. Jesus
leave. Yeah, but
Christ.
I've read the actual,
What
and
is
it's
this,
contradictory.
Times? Like, what is this, 20th century greatest artist? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Try harder. Get the original album, like the B-sides and shit.
Yeah,
Like, God damn.
yeah, but yeah, I've read the original. It is literally contradictory and contradicts what is in that you're trying to claim. So
You want to zoom out for a second?
yeah.
Let's just deconstruct this comic for a moment. You need panels 1, 2, 3, 6, and the last one.
Yep, and 8, 6 and 8.
Like, all of this is way too much. Walls of text. Come on, lefties. Tighten up.
Not
Yeah,
only
it's really
that,
not.
but we can literally even taking your original.
You don't even need like the third one, do you? Like, you just 1, 2, 6, and last one. I don't know.
Well, not only that, but again, you could literally rewrite this one about, the left talking about some sort of right-wing position, and it worked just as well, if not better. Because
Probably better.
Yeah, because what was it?
I like how the leftist though is calling like the thought police.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
The leftist is calling the thought police, who kicks in the door and takes this guy to gulag.
Yeah,
Right? That's the joke. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's self-aware. It's got to be self-aware.
No,
Come on.
they never
This
are.
nigga is calling the thought police.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's literally calling the Ministry of Truth.
yeah. So that's your reminder.
I was talking to my friend, and I mean it. I mean no ill will, but I think transgenders are suffering mental illnesses, of which gender dysphoria is just a symptom.
Yeah, more than likely.
He said
I
that
think
was
it's
like said that was like offensive and stuff, but I think there's too much emotion put into this. I don't think anyone's
it acts more
genuinely
like a
trying to
delusion
understand.
condition. Because what happens when you feed
Right, I
somebody's
think
delusion?
it is because
they
no,
get
you're
more
right.
delusional.
What's wrong though is like depression arises from one's expectations coming in contradiction with reality.
Yeah.
Like that causes stress. That causes
Yeah.
you've got your worldview has to comport to reality. If you experience the real world, a lot of these poor people, what got us started was these people being depressed and removed from, as far as they can possibly do for themselves, the real outside world, and experiencing reality and the realization that failures. Like, I just think it's a symptom, and that they've been conditioned.
Well, don't forget
in a lot of cases.
Well, don't forget, almost all modern transgender theory, it's keystone with the fucking John Money experiment.
I know, which is what I tried to make a point about too, but I think he missed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, hippity hoppity, abolish private property. How about that shirt, comrade? Can I have that shirt, comrade? How about your scarf? But it's cold outside, so I need it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, brother. Okay, comrade, right? Okay. You twink.
Well, so
Right? You don't fucking respect someone like that.
no, of course
Not only
not.
that, but
like,
you're literally re-skinning a right-wing meme. Hippy hoppity, get off my property.
right.
And that one flows better, too.
No, this is literally the left camp meme.
Yeah.
You know, cross it out / no you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to give the communist response to that is they do actually make a distinction between personal and private property, which is, I mean, I know it's retarded,
Yeah.
but yes, there that is actually what the answer would be. Should a communist be amongst us?
I invite a communist amongst us. I really do. I want some really explain this to me. I mean, Jason tried, and I guess it was just beneath. It was above my intellectual pay grade, right?
I
He
also don't
tried
think that
so
he's very
hard
good at it. I
to
don't think
give
he's
it
very
to
good at it
us.
either. He's really
Maybe
not.
not. Maybe not. Maybe not. He tried his hard. He's well read. Why
Yeah, he
would he
did
not be
try.
able to express it? Maybe you can't
Because it's
express it. Maybe you
so
can understand it
dense and
without.
contradictory. It
Well,
cannot be explained. There's
I
no
found it to be so, but then again,
sure.
I'm just wrong, right? All the time. I'm a fascist. Well, I mean that may be true, but that aside the point, right? I'm definitely anti-communist. I'll give him
Definitely
that.
anti-communist.
I don't know about a fascist quite, but definitely anti-communist.
Yeah. Scooting
Well, I mean, it
along.
depends on who you ask, I suppose.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What they think
I
will
don't
happen.
understand. Why did you give me this empty poetry book? I thought I was going to be mining coal after the revolution. Who wants to be the Gulag guard? Start
Sounds like a Seawall
writing.
thing.
Yeah, Seawall would be a good.
Start writing, you proletariat. Swine.
He would be a good Gulag guard, wouldn't he, guys? Seawall. He would be a good Gulag guard.
No. I
He
prefer.
would be dutiful.
I prefer being what was it, the juice camp guard, if you know what I'm talking about. The uniform's
Yeah.
more stylish.
Gotta guard that juice.
Yep.
But this guy's a coal mining enjoyer. Loves coal mining. He thought he would be mining coal after the revolution.
Nope.
Instead of
You're
writing
doing
poetry. Oh, no.
Coal
he has
mining
to write
destroying
poetry.
planets. But if we get rid of the coal mine, we're not going to have power.
Well, we burn poetry pages. Write book. Write word book. It only pleases the gods if we burn poetry.
Oh, God. Moving along.
Yes. The removal of communists. The removal of communist influence from Korea. Just one little bit of communist. John, do you know who this is? Being summarily executed?
No, not at the top.
Okay, well, I forget his name as well. But he was a prominent communist revolutionary in the Korean or the
Vietnamese. I think it was
Vietnam.
I think it's Vietnam.
Vietnam War. Yeah, the Vietnam War. This photo actually disturbed a lot of the American public, but this was his summary execution by the colonel of a unit that had been decimated in an ambush orchestrated by this particular individual. And this was a few days after that ambush, during the cleanup operation that he was captured. The colonel found out that they had captured him and went to where he was, and this was captured by you-know-who and printed all through the American media. The rise of television and the anti-war movement and media's role in the Vietnam War and the fight against communism in general. This was a big moment, but it was satisfying, I'm sure. This colonel had lost a lot of good men.
Oh yeah.
And this was, like I said, just shortly after that encounter that they were mopping up and caught this prominent revolutionary, again, whose name escapes me. But Yeah, I like the Smith and Wesson J frame. I'm a fan of the wheel gun. Yep.
Yeah.
And classic, dude. So, right, watershed moment, but again, yeah, this is how you handle communists.
Well, just some interesting factoids regarding the USSR.
You want to read this one there, Seawall?
In the USSR, despite mustering the collective labor of hundreds of millions of people by force in a natural resource-rich empire, 9 million square miles in size and dozens of country in scope, only 2% owned a color TV. Only 4% owned a car. The average household in the USSR was 25% the size of Seattle, Washington, the city with the smallest average apartment size in the U.S. themselves, roughly 2/3 the size of the largest found in Tallahassee, Florida. You know, I got to say this. Good job, Florida, on that one. Big, comfy
Fucking
houses.
right.
Comfy. The Soviet diet was 44% carbohydrates and starch and had 1/3 of the protein of the U.S. diet. More doctors in the U.K., but somehow had health care so poor the life expectancy trended downwards from the mid-60s to the mid-80s. You could not be unemployed. You could not easily choose your occupation or leave your occupation for another. Being over 20 minutes late to work was a criminal offense, resulting in a 25% pay cut for up to 6 months.
It's sabotaging the economy, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Other notable facts: 41% of Germany's industrial production capacity was dismantled and reassembled in Russia after the war. 26,000 engineers, scientists, aviation experts, and their dependents were simply transplanted to Russia. Stalin admitted to Eric Johnston of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that 2/3 of the Russian industrial capacity, both before and during the war, was due to U.S. assistance. The remaining third being largely a Western European import. Fred Koch built or designed the majority of Soviet oil refineries, and oil and related products account for something like 60% of Russia's current-day exports and 23% of their entire current-day economy. Without the NPE and extra-legal economic activity, the USSR would have likely continued down the pattern of repeated self-induced starvation. Stalin formally abolished the NEP in 1928, precipitating the Soviet famine of 1932. An informal economy, the second economy, existed through the USSR existence and was estimated to represent between 15 and 30% of the entire, basically a black market, was 1/3 of your economy. That is bad.
At least a sixth.
Yeah, a sixth to 1/3.
Well done, Seawall. That
Yeah.
was you managed that pretty well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Most
think those
enlightening,
are
yes.
a few interesting facts about the USSR that
Yeah.
aren't probably frequently highlighted.
Yeah, if the U.S. abandoned the Soviets in World War II, the Germans probably would have taken Moscow before fall.
God damn.
Yeah.
God damn. God damn it, you guys. God damn it, you guys. The USSR won that war and survived and continued and influenced and subverted and infiltrated and now command our daily existence. And this is the crisis of our time.
Yep. So.
We're living through it, lads.
Yep. Moving along to the next one.
My family came from the USSR, if you are to believe this anon.
Yeah.
White Americans will face widespread racial violence. What happened to my people is going to happen in America. I see the same people in power saying the same things and using the same strategy Bolsheviks used in the USSR, denying the identity and humanity of whites, psychologically torturing them in schools, accusing them of being evil or crazy for noticing that there's something wrong with the system, destroying culture and toppling monuments to cut whites off from the past. A people without a past is easier to oppress and eventually kill. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, the
you're
issue
noticing
is,
things, right?
there's now massive pushback at the state level in various states. They failed.
Right now, they're militarizing non-whites, training them to engage in ideological, economic terror against us.
And
when
yet
we
they
have
only
no
seem
more
to be engaging that only in their strongholds. Not
Well, I
anyone
mean, what
else's.
happens when you run out of statues?
Yeah.
Who's left to come after? Who's left to blame?
Yeah.
Right? I see it a lot in the local news comments section.
Mhm.
Oh, if only they had taken down another statue, this violence would stop. Well, when you've taken all the statues down, who's left to blame? Right?
Well,
North
there's always
Side
something.
Coalition?
There'll be something
No,
else.
it's always something, right? You're always one bullet away from one murder away from utopia. What happened in Russia in the 20s and 30s is going to happen here. Shutting down local police is entirely in line. They don't like unions interfering with their operations. They'll come for us themselves. They want a single police force, like the Cheka or the NKVD, trained in their ideology to carry out their terror, like 87,000 new IRS agents who are trained for home visits, right? Weren't they training for a home visit?
Yeah.
Does that sound like a Cheka or an NKVD under a name?
Yeah. They also
Under a
wanted,
federal-
they also wanted to know every if you had more than $600 worth of transactions in a year. your
In a
account.
year.
Yeah.
The signs are all here. America, like the Bolshevik Russia, is a fundamentally supremacist state where they have total dominion over a host nation, not exterminated. Their religions command them to do this. You have to red pill everyone you know. So understand, guys, like the things that we're talking about tonight, the creeping influence of communism is not without its aims. Okay, they do have an end goal for society. It's themselves on top of everyone. They're chosen as to be such. Right?
No.
It's written that it shall be so. And they have the means by which to do it, and that is the issuance of currency and the direction of popular culture. Make your own culture.
Well, a lot of areas are doing that. I mean, have you seen how Hollywood is? Yeah, some movies are doing okay, but a lot of the stuff is just dying.
Yeah.
Shows are going unwatched.
But, like, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, John, what were you going to say?
Something that's very important to remember is that, like we mentioned earlier, about how history is set on a specific path and cannot deviate and will not deviate. It's just a matter of how long it takes to get there. But history will end up, according to the communists, in a communist utopia, right? Without a government.
Right. There is an end. Like, history is linear. It proceeds in a straight line to communism. It's self-assured.
Right. And so because of that, history itself, it's almost like metaphysical in this way, that history uses people to get it to that point, right? This is what the man of action comes in. And this is when you start getting people who are in power are that man of action in communism.
Oh, the leading comrade, right?
And hundreds of millions of people die. But it's okay that they're dead. This is why it's okay. This is why they're so fucking sinister. It's okay that they're dead because history used them to find out how not to do communism. And this is the wrong way. So their deaths were okay. It's not immoral because they were used by history towards the end goal of communism.
Jesus fucking Christ, it's insidious.
It absolutely
We're not attacking straw men here. We're not attacking straw men here. We don't fucking do that. We use real examples of what we're talking about. We're not, god damn it, we're attacking the core of this philosophy.
Right.
As unwilling as it is to expose itself to its own kind of criticism, it'll never accept its own. You know how critical you can be of Western or Anglo or like Christian like morality, but you cannot attack this system of criticism with criticism. It makes itself invincible to itself.
The thing is, criticism doesn't really create. If you're only doing
these
criticism,
people can't create.
Yeah.
They lack souls. We've talked about this in many an episode. They lack souls. They can't create. They hate beauty,
but again,
and
we're facing a equivalent of a full Bronze Age collapse.
we're facing demons, bro.
Yeah. So
We're facing
It's
devil
more like
worship.
it's more like they can't create because they're coming from like criticism is negation, and
Yes.
they're trying to create. They want to create. They just can't because they don't realize that you can't create through negation.
no,
You can't create something
criticism
from
does
removing
have a
things.
place. It is needed for improvement of things.
Of course.
But it needs to
But
be
that thing
combined
has
with
to
other,
exist
yeah,
first, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be
exactly.
someone else's local factory. It's
Yeah,
got to be
someone
someone
else has-
else's local
Yeah.
farm.
Yeah.
It's got to be someone
Whereas,
someone else's local library, where you
Whereas,
can go and get someone else's local labor in the form of a book or
Yeah.
a tool or a fucking refined, raw material. God fucking damn it! Wow. It's so. How do
It's
we
the ideology
summarize
of
it
delusion.
though? How do we summarize? You can't explain it to someone who is unable to see it, right? It's impossible to explain it to someone in a terse, concise fashion, to someone who is not able to use their own intuition to realize the inconsistencies compared to their own observations. I just don't know. You have to have the perspective of having understood that there exists a contradiction in almost every contention that's, put forth by this philosophy. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
No, I think you're pretty on the mark.
I can't explain this to my sister. I can't explain it to a normie who does not have the
Right.
perspective that they're being lied to all the time. First, you have to understand that you're being lied to. How do you
Yeah.
get someone to understand that they've been lied to?
They have to
You
suffer
have to. You
by
have
that
to
lie.
lead. Yes, you do.
You have to
That's
let them
right.
suffer.
They
have to
have.
let
Don't
them...
they, Seawall? They have to experience a direct, visceral, personal experience, and I've
Yeah.
said that before.
When the food markets in the major cities run out of food, when they're being cut off from power and water, at that moment, they will realize, oh shit, the people in charge have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
And they
You can only
don't have
hope.
their best interest in
Exactly.
Yeah, you can only hope that that'll happen, though.
right. Even so, are they capable? Who knows? What is the nature of consciousness?
Well, I'm not saying all of them will figure it out. I'm saying the ones that will
Right.
come out of it alive
Poor bastards.
will
I feel
understand
worse for the ones who.
it. Yeah.
I feel worse for the ones who understand because I know that feel, bro.
Yeah. The ones that will come out of the wreckage injured but alive will
I am
be
the
the most
Wojak.
adamant about removal of, the ones that caused this.
The over his eye right now, busted lip, and
Yeah.
the stitches on his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
I'm that. I'm
Yeah,
that
so-
Wojak.
Moving along to the next one to kind of speed things along. Midget, what you doing
That's
over
me
there?
on the right, bro.
Yeah.
No, on the far. That's me
Yeah.
on the right.
What you doing over there,
No,
Midget?
that guy.
Are you at summer
it's me
camp?
on the right.
Is that you at summer camp in your teen years?
I'm like checking out the camera. I'm like smirking. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's me on the right, bro.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. Freaking communist revolutionary.
Yeah.
Goddamn, responsible for raping. Goddamn, shoot him.
Well. Oh, we have a game tonight. I almost forgot about it. The Communism Utopia Flowchart.
Oh, yes.
Convenient flowchart for dummies.
All right.
So, lads, are you ready to go? Why don't you pick your own adventure? I'll read the bubbles, and
Yep.
you pick which direction I'm going.
All right.
All right. All these wealthy and elite oppressing the people. We should redistribute their wealth. How are you going to make them do that? Revolution!
John,
right.
do we win?
All right, here we go, lads. Did you win?
I don't think we won. I think
No.
we should say no for this.
No, we failed.
Not win.
Oh, we failed. All right. Implant yourself in the education system until enough people are indoctrinated. Then try again.
Oh.
All these
Let's do it
wealthy
again.
people and elites are oppressing our people. We should redistribute their wealth. How are you going to make that happen? Revolution. Did you win this time?
I think we did win
Yeah,
this time.
we won
Yeah,
this
we
one.
Holy
implanted
crap, we
ourselves
won.
in the education. and
Right, we
that's
turned
where it all
everybody into
started.
trannies, and we whites and replaced all the whites in the nation minority and safely as a super minority, but in charge of all of the institutions and the media. And congratulations, the oppressive system is now gone. Oy vey, Goyim. How are you going to distribute all the resources and wealth now?
Well, obviously,
Are
because
you
we
going to
had
take
a hierarchy.
anarcho?
Yeah,
Are you guys
I'm-
anarcho-communists?
Yeah, let's go
Or are you guys
anarcho-communists. You know?
Leninists and Stalinists?
Yeah, I'm down with going anarcho-communist.
Yeah, let's go
All right.
anarcho-communist.
Well,
because
we can't trust anyone to
Yeah.
hold all that wealth. Everyone retains their private property and decide among themselves. So, are you African, or are you? Scroll down some more.
No, this is
Or
the only
are-
path. This is the only path, Midget.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the only path. Oh, so you're African. People are fighting over who gets the biggest pile. Warlords rise up and are now ravaging the now lawless land with no one to moderate them.
Oh no! But don't worry. That's
not real communism.
Well,
Try again, you guys.
Well, hang on. That wasn't the end of it.
Oh, you're right. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Doesn't
Markets
there
have
goes that,
returned. Markets have returned, and people are starting to become wealthy again. Inequality still exists, and the revolutionary government became corrupt in the process.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's not real communism.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't even get to that one, did we?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because we have to go
Alright.
down different
No,
paths.
so what
let's
about
go back to
Leninists and Marxists?
Yeah. Let's
All
go
right,
down
let's
this
try
way.
that one this time.
Yeah. Let's try that one. Assign
All right,
leaders.
so this
Yep.
time
This
we're
time we'll get it for
Leninists
sure.
and Marxists.
Yeah.
We'll assign leader positions in a governing state. It's temporary, I promise, to manage taking all private property and distributing the wealth fairly. But there are people that left that don't want to give up their property. Are you
Well-
guys feeling Che Guevara, or are you feeling more ANCOM?
I'm feeling Che Guevara right now.
Force them to, or kill them. Congratulations, the state now owns everything. Time to redistribute wealth. Here comes Stalin.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, but some of the leaders of the state are now power tripping and don't want to part with their enormous wealth now. So you depose the leaders.
Wait, the
Well-
guns are gone.
Wait, the guns are gone. Oh no, says fucking Mao Zedong. This isn't the communist utopia you were promised. You're in a totalitarian dictatorship. You're sent to the gulag and shot for being too outspoken. But that's not real communism.
Yeah. Let's rewind a little bit. We deposed leaders and somehow we won.
Oh, you depose the leaders and
Yeah.
somehow you win.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, the revolutionary leaders are now dead and there's no government.
Well, we can either go down the we can't trust anyone, and but let's decide the new properly revolutionary leaders now.
Oh, that's right. After
Yeah.
we've experienced
one.
Le Terreur, like in the French Revolution, and we've beheaded everyone, right? Everyone's been guillotined.
Yeah.
Let's assign new leader positions in the governing
Yeah.
state. Oh no, fucking Napoleon Bonaparte
Yep.
has
But-
reestablished an organized state around
Yeah,
But
but
secular
this time I guess
leadership
we'll have to let some people
based
keep
on
their stuff.
meritocracy, right?
know?
Based on meritocracy.
Yeah.
And then he conducts a war across Europe, against all of the fucking perverse Catholics and the goddamn anti-Christians and the fucking hedonist Jews and the fucking financiers of global power and the former dynastic wealth of the continent, and was defeated by their collective power, like they're trying again in Ukraine against base Christian Russia. So let's move on, shall we?
Yep. Okay, so we got new leaders. This time, let's let people keep some of their property.
Oh no, markets have returned and people are starting to become wealthy again. Inequality still exists and the revolutionary became corrupt in the process. But that's not real communism.
Yeah. It's almost like there isn't a win state because human nature always wins.
But there will be. Once the revolution happens, comrade. Come on now.
Political issues cannot be decomposed into social and economic issues. Social issues are really just economics of demand. Corporations derive power from consumption. Social leftism is pro-consumption. Families are not a societal issue, they're an economical. Two-parent families consume half as much. Extended families consume even less, and it creates demand for it to last and allows intergenerational recycling.
For about 3 generations, but yeah.
Wrong. Any reasoning?
Yeah,
Oh.
shitternet, dude.
You shitternet, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah.
shitternet.
What was it? It lasts about 3 generations, if not maintained, usually. But it depends on how strike it rich one generation does. It's kind of interesting. Like certain elements of the Rothschild family are actually Rockefeller family are middle class now.
Right? So. It only requires people's bodies, therefore no consumption, completely ignoring the competitive psychology behind it and the social ramifications thereof. Imagine communism ignoring human nature. Holy fucking fuck.
Yeah.
Migration is not a socialist.
Oh, no.
They got him.
Anyone above the line must be a saver. Subsidizing artificial birth rates in the third world, importing into the Western welfare state, redistributing to them from the middle class, increases consumption. This is because redistributing for potential savers to guaranteed spenders is effective distribution from savers to the people selling what spenders buy. Deconstructing borders is pro-consumption. In the case of LG barbecue people, trannies feel the need to spend millions in hormone comfort. If anyone felt this need to consume, corporate elite would have even greater power. Their power comes from demand, and social leftism is the politics of unshackling demand. Right or wrong, lads? Right or wrong, lads?
Sound about right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely demands. Yes, making demands is definitely part of it, whether it be
It all
demands for
demands on
consumption
someone
or
else's labor.
right.
We talked
Always.
about this earlier, doesn't it? We're passing the buck. It's someone else's farm or factory, fucking library that you're relying on. And if not, oh well, I guess I'll make coffee about it until until the thing appears in my fucking lap.
Well, yeah,
right?
and that's
Until
another
it falls
reason why
from the fucking sky.
Yeah. And it's the reason why most of these, LARPers are harmless. They are unwilling to pick up a rifle to do the revolution. They're expecting somebody else to do it.
I doubt if they could pick up the rifle, they could hold it long a few minutes.
Yeah.
Those things are heavy, man. You better be in shape, lads.
Yep, so.
Get it together.
There's a reminder before and after.
God, it fucks with you. Look at these people. Look at these black men. Look what happens to black men when they get a hold of them. This is insidious. Why are black men being feminized in particular, guys? Like by Hollywood.
I don't think it is just them. I think it's
no, it's not. But like, especially in particular. Like,
well, I mean, what's the single motherhood rate in that community? Where the black male is very much disparaged by the single black female.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but that's a whole different subject. But I mean, this
Yeah.
before-after thing is disturbing.
Yeah.
He's otherwise well-raised, nothing wrong with them kids turning out to be just... Look at that guy in the bottom, bro, in the middle.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yep.
Did he do to himself?
Yeah, that's
Did he,
crazy.
Mutilate himself physically? It's hard to see, but, I sure
It's
hope
really
not,
hard to see,
man. I hope he didn't, cut his fucking nose off and shit.
Yeah, so.
Damn, dude.
Scooting along.
His body modification shit.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a take on a Facebook meme, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. Oh, this one side is obviously, there's no compromise. This one side is already moderate,
right?
No,
I'm a centrist, and I'm using an inspirational, out of context quote by a famous person.
Yeah.
Standing in the middle of these two opposing sides. Access to white people is a civil right. Pay us forever.
No.
And we want to live with our own people.
I'm okay with that. You choose who you wish to associate with.
Yeah, freedom of association is the real
Yeah.
thing.
Out of context quote by a famous person, you guys.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Don't you
You got
feel
time.
compelled
Yeah.
by my out of context quote by a famous person?
No.
Hmm?
So, scooting along.
No compulsion. You don't feel it?
Nope.
Nope. I'm all good.
That's too bad. All right, zoom and enhance. This is how leftoids function, though. Everything is a social construct. I have the power to change reality by lying to myself about it. My lies become real because I believe in them. You need to believe in my lies too, or you're a racist. I mean, it's kind of a cute summary of.
I mean,
it's
it's
a
definitely
shit
true.
post.
It's the just like casting a spell, right? It's chanting something to existence
Mhm.
until it exists.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'll refer again to the conversation friend that we featured once or twice on the show before. But like, as much as I agree that they should be treated with dignity, like these men who think that they're women, they wish to have the power to change reality by lying to themselves about it.
There's only one being in the universe that has that power, and we will not even get a limited understanding of him until after we are no longer on this material plane.
That's what faith is about, my.
Yeah. There's only one being in the universe that can
Faith in the
change the rules of the
existence of-
universe. That's the one who created this whole fucking thing.
So, be that as it may.
So, then.
And I think this is, again, a good shit post here. The appeal of liberalism or leftism or this socialism we've been talking about is a total lack of responsibility, pure, unadulterated selfishness.
Right. Absolutely.
But it has another aspect, doesn't it? If you don't own guns, you don't have the duty to defend your family. If you don't have kids, you don't have the duty to raise them. If you're an anti-racist, you abdicate the duty to your people. If you're an atheist, you don't have a duty to God or material reality.
Mhm.
Why these people attack anyone who does their duty? It makes them look bad.
Yeah.
Nothing is more disgusting than this selfish coward. They
Yeah.
know this
Yeah.
is what they are and
Well, I mean,
spend their
yeah,
time
I mean,
trying to
go-
convince themselves
the
that
Rittenhouse
everyone else that they aren't.
The reason why they went after Rittenhouse so hard was because he was setting an example of, okay, this is how you defend your community from fuckwits.
Community
In a
policing.
constructive and respectable way, right?
Yeah.
In a constructive and respectable way. He did not undermine the concept of society, right? He was doing what people believe is just. And what have we discussed justice is last week, Seawall?
What somebody is
giving
morally
that which
due.
there is due,
Yeah,
right?
what's
And for
morally
that
due.
you need a moral foundation. You need right thought, right? You need right thinking. You need right mindset. You need a moral. Society agreed that Rittenhouse was acting in concert with societal norms. That is the value of that instance, and it highlights, like you pointed out, Seawall, again, that they want to spend their time convincing themselves and everyone else that they are not cowards.
No, they are.
Right? But
Right.
they
And
project
the elites
that
at the top
onto
are fucking
everyone
cowards
else.
too. That's why they fail in the end. They are cowards.
Well,
do you
that's
see?
why we have to ensure that they. We
Yes.
have to gather together. We have to create our own. We have to create our own parallel cultures and societies that are independent.
That's
Thank
what's being
God,
built
dude.
right
I
now.
sure
People are
hope
going,
so.
No, we're done with
Inshallah.
this shit. Yeah.
Inshallah, man.
Inshallah, my brother. So, moving along to the next one. No, leftists are not authoritarians. Just because we think that everyone who disagrees with us, with our toxic bigotry, should be doxxed, harassed, subject to death threats, have their property vandalized, punched in the face, assaulted with bike locks, prohibited from sharing videos, prohibited from publishing books, banned from the internet, fired from their job, blacklisted from their industry, expelled from their school, prohibited from speaking at universities, and cast out of society does not make us authoritarians. It's called consequences, chud.
Right.
That's
Exactly right. Oh my god.
Oh Lord!
Another reason why
Look
we
at
have
all
a
the
mass
replies.
advantage over
Look at
them.
all the U's he got with that. Look at all the
Yeah.
U's he got with that.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? The thing is, another reason why they're failing horribly in the culture war right now is they can't think like their enemy, whereas their enemy knows their entire fucking book. I mean, how many times have we been tricked by a parody account, thinking it's real?
Well, this is a
I mean, it
green
happens.
text. This is
Yeah.
green text.
Yeah, I know this is
And-
green text, so
And
that one's
but
obvious.
check it
yeah.
out. I wanted to make a quick point here. All of these shit posts are harvested directly from the chans. If you guys
Yeah.
ever wanted to check the archives, all you had to do was search the post number and you can get all of the context that you want. You can even see all of the replies to this post if you wanted to, easily by
Awesome.
checking the post number in the archive. 4chan, what is it? Oh shit. archive.4plebs.org, and you can search by post number.
Yeah.
Do it today. Any of the shit posts you see tonight,
Yeah.
feel free.
And
Or any other night. They're
commie
harvested
elimination.
directly
You know,
from.
back to what we're talking
How
about earlier.
satisfying.
Yeah.
It's just satisfying.
Yeah.
Especially when you really get, like, to know intimately the fucking concepts. Oh, you know what, dude? I have another. I sure hope I can find it quickly. It's a photo of. It's like a classic, iconic photo of a anti-communist Hungary. Was it Romanian revolutionary?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, Well, there's also like that Polish mercenary. It's like, what does it feel like killing some people? Well, I've only ever killed communists, so I never killed a person.
Yeah, that guy.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like, no, it's like an action shot of a Romanian citizen during the collapse of the USSR in the revolution against the communist government there. Oh man, I'll post it in shitpost if I ever find it. Let me see if I can find it based. Is it based? Is it one of my based photos?
Who knows?
It would be.
But a little blast from the past earlier today. This is how you do a comic like this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Emergency hotline was your.
I'm
Oh,
at a
yeah.
dinner party and my friend is a Marxist corrupting our youth.
Goose steps through the
The door.
doorway.
Yeah.
That's the punchline.
Yeah.
That's it. 3
Yeah.
fucking panels, Kami.
Yeah.
You get it. It's funny. Help! My friend is a Marxist corrupting our youth. Boom! Hell yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's how you edit. That's how you make a comic.
Right. Like
Ah, that was fun. I had fun,
Yep.
lads.
So
So are we doing this thing on Sundays now?
yeah, I think we should do Sundays. It's kind of comfy, you know. The porch is it's a little more comfortable on Sundays, you know.
I don't know. I guess.
I mean,
So I'm doing my thing.
on Mondays, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be all about the masks.
Yes, sir.
Masks. Yeah, dude. I'm gonna try the wedding mask. So I'm gonna do the whole cafe quest. And that's I might do it twice because you have to do it at least twice to get. So yeah.
Badass.
Doing that
Yeah,
tomorrow. So I guess we're doing Sundays and Mondays. And I got the rest of the week to myself, right?
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. If you want to do extras, you can. So
Yeah, no one's stopping you.
yeah.
No, I don't.
That
But like I at least would have some free time.
is true.
Yeah. So how's life in the mountains there, John?
Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It
you were saying a
snowed.
little bit prior to we going on the air.
Yeah, dude, it snowed like twice since I've been here, which is pretty sweet. Um, so it's been nice. It's actually not as bad. Like the cold isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like it's
It's
been,
a different kind of cold, isn't it?
yeah, it was like it's been in the high 20s as like the lowest it's been. So it hasn't been like single digits or anything like that.
But
That's pretty
even
nice.
so, like it's a different kind of cold, though, isn't it? It's not so piercing. It doesn't get down to your bones. It's
Right.
not
At
like a
least it hasn't.
humid fucking cold. It's not like a humid, piercing fucking cold. Like when it
Right.
gets down to 25 down here in Florida, it feels like 18, 15 degrees. Shit, it's cold. Like it sucks. But like up there where it's drier and higher in altitude, it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's a little less oppressive and uncomfortable. You can put a jacket on and like your nose might, run a little bit, but otherwise you can deal with it. The sun is out and
Right.
shining, like
It's crazy.
it's
Yeah. No, it's been really, really nice. The views are great. Being able to see mountains everywhere I go is pretty
dude,
awesome.
I can't wait.
Um,
I need like another year. I need like another year. I need to save up like another 10 grand.
I
I
think
need
you
to
can do it.
save up like another 10 grand.
I mean, that's right, because
So,
I need a year too. I'm staying in an apartment right now for the rest of this year. So,
well, you're
um,
on a 1 year lease, right?
yep. So next January.
Um, have you already got a property lined up?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, whatever. You got a little bit of time.
We got plenty of
Don't forget, dude, you're gonna have to close on the house by the time your lease is up.
time. Right. No, for sure.
So, yeah, waste no time, bro. I don't
No,
know. If I were you, I'd be fucking terrified, but
no.
they don't teach you these things in fucking school, do they?
No, they
Goddamn
don't.
public schools are useless. Useless. Why wouldn't a taxpayer, I was talking to Eugene about this. Why wouldn't a taxpayer want to take the money that they're, not being asked to pay, to put their kids into a racial jungle? Um Instead, they could take that money and apply it to a genuine education where like they don't have to be around people who don't value education, if you get my meaning.
Right.
And they won't be racially targeted by those people as well, for bullying and violence. um, so a
Yep.
lot like that BBC post that I shared on from Twitter about Ukrainians taking their kids out of the local school systems in the UK. They actually noticed things, was the joke. Like she said, I read the statistics. She's like, I noticed things. And the anchor who was interviewing was like, oh, you can't notice things, you can't read the statistics and make judgments on that. That's racist, right? And she herself, being brown as fuck, right, was like,
Right.
you can't be offended that they're brown. It's like, no, they're harassing my daughter, right?
Right.
Sexually. It's like there's too many Muslims, by they're harassing my 14-year-old daughter in school. Right? They're fucking sexually assaulting her in the bathroom. Right? My kid's been raped. My kid's been beat up. My kid's been targeted for.
Right.
So that's racist to notice these things. Of course, you don't have to
It's just
advocate for yourself if you're. That's not allowed.
well, I mean it's just a tactic for you know, whether
The
you want to call it
undermining of
Marxism,
Western civilization. Right.
right?
The undermining of Western civilization.
Call it racist
The
until you control it.
the
That's it.
atomization to the destruction of communities, the the under the devaluation of the meaning of words.
Well, it's about that time, boys.
Yeah,
Johnny, I think you got to play us out.
I most certainly will. If for whatever reason you've enjoyed anything you saw tonight, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And check out the description where we have all of our links to our stuff, including our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. Uh, Make sure you check out Midget B tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern for his playthrough of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. And we'll see you guys next week.
See y'all next week, boys.